This is the third video of a playlist that I'm building for building your investment narrative. And in this video, I want to cover contrarian investing versus mainstream investing. And this needs to be something to think about as far as your investing narrative. And so, mainstream investing is just really following the trend where everybody else is. If everybody's a bull, you're a bull. If everybody's a bear, you're a bear. In particular markets, and there's some other things here, and we'll get into that as we cover the contrarian investing. So a contrarian goes against these market trends. They're not following the crowd, so to speak. They are, if everybody's bullish, they're going to be bearish, and vice versa. And it's the saying of be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. And so this is kind of the mentality that a contrarian has. And another example, excuse me, of a contrarian investor is somebody maybe who looks at just technical analysis. And then there's people that I consider, like Warren Buffett, is always looking for some type of value, and he's using more fundamental analysis. Some people consider him a contrarian because of that. And then there are even others that look at technical analysis and fundamental analysis as not valid, based off of something called the efficient market hypothesis, which a whole nother video. And a guy named David Draymond in Contrarian Investment Strategies wrote a book about this, and this counts quite a bit, the ability for technical analysis and fundamental analysis to be worthy or of any value from an investing standpoint. And I seek these people out, and just I love different opinions. I do use technical analysis. I do still use fundamental analysis, but anytime somebody comes up with data like in Contrarian Investment Strategies by Draymond, then I'm looking to find other ways to be better. So he uses a lot of research for his contrarian views, and you find people also like that use research like Michael Burry from The Big Short, where he saw through doing some research that subprime mortgages were overvalued, and made the big bet in the 2008 great financial crisis, and eventually made a lot of money. And sometimes, as Michael Burry learned in The Big Short, or back in 2008, sometimes it takes a while for things to play out, especially something as large as the collapse of the housing market. There's also deep value, where maybe stocks are trading at many multiples below their book or their intrinsic value. And deep value is something that you can make you a contrarian trader. You find something that maybe somebody else in their research doesn't find. Now, I also consider contrarian investors to be people that have a certain philosophy. So, one of the people I follow is Peter Schiff, and he comes from Austrian economics, which you heard me talk about in the previous video in this playlist, and he's more focused on commodities and investing outside of the United States. Versus normal people here in the U.S. are primarily going to be interested in U.S. stocks. And the U.S. stock market, let's face it, is the biggest, but for reasons of debt and things of that sort, has me now looking outside of the U.S. and maybe even trading in foreign currencies and things of that sort. And then one of the most interesting, I think, on the internet today is David Hunter, who's a guy who's been on Wall Street for a number of years, and he's drawing a lot of consternation, at least as of today. We just had a huge drop of almost 1,200 points in the Dow while I'm recording this, and David Hunter is one that is anticipating a melt up as opposed to a meltdown, where everybody else right now is thinking in terms of we're in a bear market and things are going to keep going down. David Hunter still holds to something with high conviction. I mean, and he uses those words. And again, I'll probably do another video on him just by himself. But David Hunter is under Dave H. Contrarian on Twitter is his handle, and he actually has targets out there for where he sees things going. But he would be definitely a contrarian investor. I mean, the amount of grief he gets on Twitter is pretty amazing. It's almost funny. Sometimes people get a little bit overboard on it, but I listen to him. He follows along kind of my contrarian view. I think at present my belief is that the dollar will start to roll over, oils start to roll over, and we're going to start to see this slowing down in the economy. And with that, there'll be one last kind of like the person that you see on TV that just was shot and they take their final breath, and then that they're done. Because I'm longer term right now bearish, but I think in short term I am a bull when everybody else is falling apart. So we'll see how it plays. I don't bet everything on it, but I do have some investments associated with that type of thinking. So one of the things that you need to determine then is, are you a contrarian investor or a mainstream or trend follower type of investor as part of your narrative? And I think if you think through these things, it really help you when become trading on principles. I think is important. If your principles are when we covered economics, that you're more of an Austrian economic, then you're not going to like the government involved and messing around with stuff. And if you're Keynesian, you want the Fed involved and turning different controls in order to fix things and do that. And again, probably another video, but I think you just kind of getting your mindset around what your principles are and what your belief is will help in your investing. And that way, when you start to come along with the tactics, you can actually win either way, no matter what it is. And some people question why I even cover these. It's because you need to build a foundation in order to and my belief is in order to trade it, because you need to develop principles around what you believe. If you're always kind of shifting around what your principles are in investing, then you're not following a certain strategy, and sometimes you're here and sometimes you're there, and then things kind of fall apart. So anyway, that's the third video. Think about contrarian versus mainstream, what you want to be. And sometimes I'm both too, but I tend to be more of a contrarian. I like to research things and find something that maybe somebody else doesn't see, or when everybody's a bear, I want to be a bull. So anyway, that covers the third video, and the fourth in the playlist is going to be kind of will be on neuroeconomics and kind of psychology of trading, and kind of what you go through, and that will, for now, be the final one of this particular playlist of developing your narrative. So remember, there's always a better way. Catch you in the next video.